jazz guitar under 5 minutes. With me, as always, is my partner, Hershey the dog. We had a couple of great walks. Now it's time for guitar this last day in March. I hope everybody's having a great spring. It's been a little bit since I've been able to post a jazz guitar educational video, but I'm back. And I'm here today to talk about contours. You just caught me playing through one of my favorite standards, Beautiful Love by Victor Young. Sort of like the reverse autumn leaves, right? It goes, minor 2-5, major 2-5. Anyways, so I want to talk about contours. So often when you hear even really great guitar players, and intermediate, beginner, this is a common problem. You get stuck on the jazz guitar escalator when you're improvising, right? All your lines seem to be either going to go up or they're going to go down, right? And it's probably because, everybody spent a lot of time practicing scales, right? I just played a G major scale. And if you're really awesome, you learn it in one octave, and then you play it descending. And if you're super awesome, you do too. And then if you're ready to unlock the guitar, you do triples, right? So, wow. So I really know the guitar, right? I can play it backwards too, trust me, Scout's honor. But, you start playing that, and then maybe your lines, like if I was to play this tune, it wouldn't be uncommon to hear somebody play, I wanted to consciously try to use a little bit of the guitar and be melodic. But what I ended up doing was my line predominantly was I-95 north, right? And then towards the end, I got done the gig, and then I took 95 south back home, right? Anyways, what can I do to sort of like break this up? Well, what I like to do is, if you've ever been in a recording studio and seen your guitar come up, and on like Pro Tools, you can kind of see the contours. And there was a time long ago where I was just kind of like, it was like just watching, like, kind of had one of those Stegosaurus vibes going. And I was like, I was on the jazz escalator. I was just going up and I was going down. And, I'd like to think of some of my favorite, musicians. They all seem to be able to have contours in their line. Sure, there's parts where it just goes up, crescendo, decrescendo. But a lot of the times there's, it's that little mid-range game happening that sort of bounces around. So let's just take a couple things. Now, the first thing I like to do is just like take what's happening in the chord, right? Maybe if I play a line like this. So I ended up kind of having an octave jump in a phrase is really, really important. It's scary sometimes to get out of the box. And they tell you to don't go chasing waterfalls. But if you never get out of the box, you're never really going to, you're never going to find what you can do. Or what you know and what you don't know, more importantly. So what I ended up doing there, something like that. Even that phrase, just to have that start out where I'm playing the root. I always like to think about using that D7 there as the punctuation of where I'm going to start my next idea too. Right? I talk about that a lot, just using chords when you're comping to kind of end your phrase. You have to end it. If you're playing with a group, or a really good group, they're going to end your phrase if it's messed up. Almost like if you're throwing a pitch that's a little out of the strike zone, but you got JT Real Muto back there, it's going to make it happen for you. Go Phils. So I just took that little idea you know, there's even more of a little bit of a contour. That's kind of a little bunch of contours happening, right? Because I'm just taking a triad. This is the best way to kind of implement this idea. So I played in this part, it was where the 2-5 goes to F. And what I ended up doing here was, sure, that's a line that I play, but I took the upper neighbor, lower neighbor. The fancy name for that is appoggiatura, which sort of sounds like some kind of a delicious dessert that you could get at an Italian deli. I'd love 3 cannoli and an appoggiatura, please. So, wow, I can switch that up too. I can move it around. Bunch of different ideas. Oops, right? You know you're really going for stuff when you mess up too. That's another thing, guitar friends. If you're practicing perfect, are you really practicing? It's not supposed to sound good. Sometimes when I'm doing videos and I'll make a little tiny mistake, I'll pretty much recut it because I want it to be perfect. But how can you really demonstrate the art of improvisation? You know, you're going to have to deal with a couple bump notes. You obviously understand the concept that's happening there. So you just roll with it, right? On to the next chorus. So again, just getting some of those contours in your ideas, really going to open up the guitar for you as well. Another thing that I like to do, and I do it a lot on dominant chords, you know, there's a part where, so for this part, I ended up playing the root tritone and maybe for that B flat and that A7, I just took that, you know, the guide tones. But what I ended up doing here can create so much tension. That's what I talk about using what the tune is giving you, right? Sure, like I can tritone sub to things to death, and I can, you know, implement all kinds of superimpositions, and I can be super slick LT. But like, why not, especially when I'm playing by myself, you know, why not take the tension that's already given to me in those dominant chords, right? And by spreading it out, and then you can do it again. Get the idea, right? Right, and you get to that turnaround, that's just a 1-6-2-5. And there's so much you can do with just that, right? I can play really nice phrase, and again, I'm just taking what the tune is giving me. So alright, jazz guitar friends, contours are the best thing that you can do to kind of spice up your phrasing. And if you're stuck on the jazz escalator and you know that you're just kind of going up and down, really try to be conscious of getting some ideas that move around a little bit. It's going to open up the guitar, it's going to change the way you play and the way you sound, obviously. So alright, jazz guitar friends, it might be time for another walk here. So if you like this video and you made it this far, thank you. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. You can also catch me in a couple, I guess 10 days. I'll be at the Artisan Guitar Fest in Harrisburg playing this awesome Tim Bram guitar. Can't wait to see some of my guitar friends also playing for Henriksen with some great guitar players going to be out there. So hope to see you soon. Bebop!